Hello friends. Welcome to this simple lesson on GMP, which has full form as good manufacturing practice. Let's start with a real-life example so everything becomes crystal clear. Imagine it's 2 a.m. You have a terrible headache. You open your medicine cabinet, take one small white paracetamol tablet, swallow it with water, and 30 minutes later the pain is completely gone. You never think, is this tablet really pure? Does tablet contain paracetamol? Is the dose exactly correct? Could there be dust, bacteria, or wrong chemicals inside? You trust it 100%, and that trust exists only because of GMP. GMP is very easy to understand. Think of it like your mom or grandma cooking a big family meal on festival day. She measures everything exactly, washes every utensil perfectly, checks that all ingredients are fresh, and checks the final dish before serving. One small mistake, wrong spice, or bad milk, and the whole family gets sick. GMP does exactly the same thing, but for medicines that can save or harm lives. Without GMP, your paracetamol could have too little medicine, no relief, too much, dangerous side effects, bacteria, or mixed-up chemicals. That is why GMP exists. It is the invisible safety net that makes every tablet, injection, syrup, or vaccine 100% pure, powerful, and reliable. Today we will cover the complete journey of GMP. Let's start. Now here's the thing. This incredible complex system of rules wasn't just invented in meeting room. No, it was forged into fire of real-world disaster. It came after real tragedies. The first warning came in 1902 in the United States when contaminated diphtheria antitoxin caused the death of 13 children. At that time, vaccines were produced from horse serum. One horse used for producing the antitoxin became infected with tetanus, but the contamination was not detected. The infected serum was still distributed and injected into children, which caused tetanus poisoning. The real problem was that there were no manufacturing standards, no sterility testing, and no government inspections for biological products. This tragedy forced the government to introduce the Biologics Control Act of 1902, which required licensing and inspection of vaccine manufacturing facilities. Another major disaster occurred in 1937 with a medicine called elixir sulfanilamide. Sulfanilamide was an antibacterial drug, but the company wanted to make a liquid version so children could take it easily. To dissolve the drug, the manufacturer used diethylene glycol, a chemical commonly used in antifreeze and highly toxic to humans. At that time, there was no law requiring companies to test medicines for safety before selling them. The company only tested the flavor and appearance of the medicine. After it reached the market, 107 people, many of them children, died from kidney failure caused by diethylene glycol poisoning. This tragedy led to the Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act of 1938, which gave the FDA authority to require safety testing and inspect pharmaceutical factories. In 1941, another serious incident happened involving the antibiotic sulfathiazole. During manufacturing, the antibiotic tablets accidentally became contaminated with phenobarbital, a sedative drug. This happened because factories used shared equipment without proper cleaning or manufacturing controls. As a result, more than 300 people were poisoned, experiencing extreme drowsiness and toxic reactions. The incident exposed major weaknesses in manufacturing discipline such as cross-contamination, lack of documentation, and poor process control. It pushed regulators to strengthen factory inspections and manufacturing standards. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, the world faced one of the most devastating drug tragedies with thalidomide. The drug was prescribed to pregnant women to treat morning sickness and help with sleep. However, it had never been properly tested for its effects on unborn babies. The drug interfered with fetal development, and as a result, more than 10,000 babies worldwide were born with severe birth defects, especially limb deformities where arms or legs were shortened or missing. This global shock forced governments to strengthen drug regulation dramatically. In 1963, The first official good manufacturing practice regulations were introduced to ensure medicines were produced under strict quality control. In 1969, the World Health Organization introduced international GMP guidelines so countries around the world could follow similar manufacturing standards. In 1978, current GMP or CGMP became law, meaning pharmaceutical companies must always use modern and up-to-date technology and scientific practices instead of outdated manufacturing methods. Europe, ICH, and countries like India followed. The 2008 heparin scandal, where contaminated raw materials caused more than 80 deaths, pushed regulators to strengthen supplier verification and global supply chain tracking. Today, in 2026, pharmaceutical manufacturing is even more advanced, using digital quality systems, artificial intelligence for anomaly detection, automated monitoring, and blockchain-based supply chain tracking. The clear lesson from history: careless manufacturing can kill people. Strict GMP saves lives. Now, let's understand the official components of GMP. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, and FDA guidelines, GMP is built on 5 main official components, popularly known as the 5 Ps. These are the complete building blocks that every pharmaceutical factory must follow. Regulators check these in every audit. If any one is weak, the factory can fail compliance. Component number 1, people. This is about every person working in the factory, from cleaners to managers. They must be well-trained, qualified, and healthy. They wear special clothes, follow exact hand-washing rules, and stay out of the production area if they are sick. Auditors check training records. Trained people never mix up ingredients or forget steps. Component 2, premises. This refers to the factory building and all equipment. The facility must be impeccably clean, like a hospital, with smooth, easy-to-clean floors, segregated clean and dirty areas, HEPA-filtered air systems, and controlled temperature and humidity to prevent bacterial growth or dust ingress. Equipment undergoes daily cleaning and regular calibration to ensure precise measurements. Just as a dirty kitchen counter or faulty stove spoils food, unclean premises or inaccurate tools contaminate medicines. Surprise inspections verify compliance, safeguarding tablets from contamination. Component number 3, processes. This is how the medicine is actually made. Every single step from weighing raw materials to mixing, making tablets, and packing. Each step follows a master recipe exactly the same way every time. No shortcuts. Every process is tested and proven to work perfectly. Auditors watch the process and check proof documents. That is why every tablet has exactly the same strength. Component number 4, procedures. This is the written instructions and paperwork, called SOPs, worked out instructions, batch records, and logs. Every action is written down: who did what, when, and how. If a problem happens later, investigators can find the exact mistake and fix it forever. Auditors check that all records are complete. This makes the whole system clear and reliable. Component number 5, products. This is about the actual medicine and all raw materials. Every ingredient is tested before use. The final product is tested again for purity, strength, and safety. Even the packaging is checked. Nothing leaves the factory until it passes all tests. Lab checks and recall rules make this component strong. This is the final protection for your tablet. Now that you know the 5 official components of GMP, let's see how these components work together in a typical manufacturing day inside a real pharmaceutical facility. In a GMP-compliant factory producing tablets, injections, or antibiotics, the day follows a strictly controlled and documented routine. Trained personnel, wearing appropriate protective clothing and following hygiene protocols, enter classified cleanroom areas where the environment is continuously monitored for temperature, humidity, air quality, and particulate levels. Using validated manufacturing processes and approved standard operating procedures, raw materials are received, sampled, weighed, and processed through each defined step, such as mixing, granulation, compression, filling, or packaging. At every critical stage, in-process controls are performed and all activities are recorded in real time on documents. Samples are collected and sent to the quality control laboratory for testing of purity, potency, and safety. Only after the complete batch record review and successful laboratory results does the quality assurance team formally release the batch for distribution. Regular self-inspections and internal audits ensure ongoing adherence to the 5 Ps, while periodic regulatory inspections by authorities such as the FDA or CDSCO confirm full compliance. This disciplined daily operation allows the facility to consistently produce and export millions of safe, high-quality medicines to patients worldwide. But what happens when a company fails to follow GMP? The consequences are serious and follow a clear, step-by-step process that begins the moment an auditor spots problems. Here is exactly how the auditor acts and how the entire process unfolds. During a routine or surprise inspection, the auditor, FDA investigator or equivalent from EMA or CDSCO, spends several days reviewing documents, observing production, interviewing staff, and checking equipment and facilities. If they see any conditions that may violate GMP regulations, they note them carefully. At the very end of the inspection, the auditor sits down with senior management and discusses the findings openly. They then hand over a document called FDA Form 483, or its equivalent in other countries. This is simply a list of inspectional observations. It points out exactly what is wrong, such as inadequate cleaning procedures, missing training records, poor environmental monitoring, or data integrity issues. Importantly, the 483 is not a final punishment or court order. It is like a detailed report card saying, "These are the problems we saw. Please explain and fix them." The company now has 15 business days to submit a written response. In this response, they must explain the root cause of each observation, describe a complete corrective and preventive action (CAPA) plan with clear timelines, provide proof that the fixes are already underway or will be completed soon. The FDA reviews the 483, the full inspection report, and the company's response. If the reply is thorough, honest, and shows real fixes, the matter may end there. But if the response is weak, late, or incomplete, the FDA escalates. Next step is usually a warning letter, a public, stronger warning that the violations are serious and must be corrected immediately. After a warning letter, further actions can include product recalls. Sometimes millions of tablets or injections are destroyed. Heavy fines, often millions of dollars. Factory shut down through a court injunction. In extreme cases, criminal charges and loss of license. Let's see the real examples so you can see exactly how this works in practice. First example, the 2008 heparin scandal. A Chinese supplier failed GMP by using cheap, contaminated raw material. FDA inspectors found the problems, issued 483s, and when fixes were not adequate, they ordered massive recalls. Over 80 patients died in the U.S. from allergic reactions. The supplier faced import bans, and the entire supply chain was disrupted. Second example, Ranbaxy Laboratories between 2008 and 2014, they received multiple 483s for data falsification, poor manufacturing practices, and failing to investigate complaints. The FDA issued warning letters, placed import alerts on several plants, and finally the U.S. Department of Justice imposed a $500 million fine. Some factories were completely barred from the U.S. market until they proved compliance through a court-supervised consent decree. Even today in 2025 to 2026, many companies continue to receive 483s and warning letters for common issues like weak quality control units, unvalidated cleaning, or supplier qualification failures. The message is always the same: GMP is not optional. So friends, in short, GMP started because of past mistakes that taught us careless manufacturing is dangerous. Its 5 official components: people, premises, processes, procedures, and products are followed strictly every day in real factories with regular audits and updates. That is why every medicine you take is 100% safe and reliable. And if anyone breaks these rules, the consequences are fast and strict: recalls, fines, shutdowns, and loss of trust.